got her itch in my palm. My girl, she know she the one. I put the ice on her hand. I put some ice on her arm. See me shining in the light. Know you found me in the dark. Talking how you wanna leave. Girl, you made this far.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sip and Talk with MsLonda. Welcome my co-host, Rue Life NASA.
Yep.
So tonight we have a couple different topics for you guys this evening. Our first topic is we're going to be talking about the 11-year-old young man who was shot by police. His name is Aderrian. He called the police to basically help his mother and, in concern of his mother. And officer got there and pretty much he ends up getting shot. Our next topic is we are going to be discussing the 12-year-old who robbed somebody, a woman, of her phone along with his 6-year-old brother. And then we are going to talk a little bit about mental health and the whole situation that's going on with Raz B from the group B2K. So without further ado, you guys, let's get into it. All right. So like I said, so 11-year-old Aderrian was shot and wounded in Mississippi by police officer. Attorney has spoke out and says that the officer should be fired, and I agree. This took place on Saturday, May 20th, during a domestic disturbance call at the mother's house, and the mother's name is Michaela Murray. The young man was unarmed. He was hospitalized for 5 days for a collapsed lung, and he also has a lacerated liver and fractured ribs. The officer shot him in the chest. He was released from the hospital this past Wednesday. The family is demanding justice, as they should. The young man came within an inch of losing his life. What are your thoughts on that?
I just got briefed up on the story. I saw the story today. Again, we going through this situation where the police are being trigger happy, not killing, shooting unnecessarily. I feel like a lot of these police officers need to have some kind of psyche evaluation to see if they can even handle pressure situations. Because there's no reason for that little boy to get shot like that. And unfortunately, even though we're calling for him to be fired, it's gonna be kind of hard to do because when they got that badge, everybody sticks behind that badge. You
So
know what I mean?
I don't know about this one. Because I don't know. So did you read it? Did you read the information I sent you?
Okay, so what I saw was the little boy got shot. It was a domestic dispute. The little boy got shot, and then everybody's calling for the police officer to get fired.
So I actually read the article, and
Hmm.
there's one thing that I want to point out. The
Okay.
officer, first of all, he was a sergeant. Second, he is a black officer. Third,
Oh.
and that's why I send you guys information. I want you guys to be briefed up so you have the full details. Third,
Okay.
when the officers arrived, they kicked on the door. The mother opened the door. They asked who was in the home. She said just her children. She said the intruder, which was of the father of one of her other children.
Okay.
He came banging on the door, wanting to get in. He was irate, so she didn't feel safe, so she had her son to call the police. All right, so when she opened the door for the officers, she mentioned to the officers that no one was in the house but her 3 children. So when the officer yells out, anyone in the home, come out with your hands in the air, and the young man walks into the living room, he shot him in the chest. So fuck the badge.
Hmm.
You handled that very carefully. There was no reason for you to shoot this young man, and he didn't have anything in his hands. He was unarmed, and he had no objects or anything in his hand. And the fact that you already knew that she told you that there was only her children. You should have dealt with that with the mindset that you were dealing with children, so there was no reason for you to shoot.
Yeah, he shouldn't even had the gun in his hand. You know what I mean? That was him just being trigger happy. I didn't see the part that he was a black sergeant yet. I apologize for not reading that part of the situation. But yeah, he might get fired. He's no, he probably will, because they got to make an example out of that, because there
Exactly.
there was really no reason for you to even go that far. Because like when you're dealing with kids, you gotta handle it with a different situation. You gotta handle that with care, especially when they said, "Look, it's all it is me and the children here." So there was really no threat. You
No.
just you just got trigger happy, and didn't handle your business correctly. That's why I say a lot of these police officers, before they get a badge, before they do anything, you have to you have to you have to test them, or you have to put them through some kind of training to see if you could even if you could become a police officer.
Well,
Because I don't know.
I wonder though, how do they train? Because here's my thing. I feel like, are the officers trained to kill, or are they trained to injure in necessary case? Because I can understand if somebody's coming at you with a weapon, or is flying out with a weapon or something of that nature, and then maybe you shoot them in the leg just to put them down, rather than killing them and shooting them 20 times.
So my cousin, she was a police officer. I think she's a sergeant or whatever. A lot of times she say a lot of these police officers, they're trained to, once they feel a threat, they're trained to stop the threat. So if killing you is what they got to do, that's what they're gonna do. But I think a lot of these police officers just feel like Superman, like, you know what I mean, like RoboCop when they got the gun. You know what I'm saying? So I like, that's why I'm saying, like, there needs to be another form of training.
Yeah, it does.
Like, God bless that little boy didn't lose his life though.
Yeah, but I mean, a collapsed lung, fractured ribs, um, you know,
I think
lacerated.
he's gonna be traumatized for life. Like,
Yes.
that's
And then it's like, okay, I called the police for help, and this is what happened to me in return.
right. This is why a lot of people don't. This is why a lot of people don't call the police. This is why they're like, I'm not going through this. This is why a lot of African Americans are scared to get pulled over. This is because it's like, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen when we walk out our doors. You know what I mean? And that we should not have to live like that. We should not have to live in fear, especially if by people who's supposed to protect us.
Right.
It's unfortunate, man.
That's
How did
crazy.
you feel about it when you? How did you feel about it when you first saw the story?
When I read it, I thought that was fucked up because, like I said, this young man is calling the police because he's trying to help his mother. He's trying to prevent something from happening to his mother, but he ends up paying the consequence in the end. Like, that sucks. That's fucked up.
A lot of time, yeah, yeah, and it's just like, so now you got people like, damn, if this was gonna happen, I'm never gonna call the police again. You gonna have people thinking like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. And so, the next topic that I wanted to discuss was a 12-year-old accused of armed robbery. Now, he committed this armed robbery with his 6-year-old brother. This happened in North Carolina. North Carolina charged the 12-year-old with armed robbery. The boys approached the woman asking to use her phone to contact their mother. Once she handed them the phone, they took off running. Now, I guess the lady, took off in pursuit to get her phone back. But
Hmm.
once she confronted the boys, the older boy allegedly pointed what appeared to be a gun in her face and attempted to pistol whoop her. Then they fled to a nearby complex. Once
Okay.
police found out who the mother was and contacted her, which, by the way, this mother's residence is known for past criminal acts.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They spoke with the 6-year-old who basically gave up the weapon that was used to commit the crime, and come to find out it was a BB gun.
Right.
That look, but BB guns, they look like,
They look real. When they look real, when you look at them real fast. Yeah.
so
So here's the thing about this. So I was born in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I go back and forth there a lot.
mhm.
So where that happened, there is a lot of crime. Okay. So here's the thing. The 12-year-old and the 6-year-old tried to get that girl's get to take the girl's phone, which they did. Then they pointed a BB gun. Now the 12-year-old is probably going to go to not jail, but he's probably going to sit down for a little bit. But the 6-year-old, they said the 6-year-old is not going to get any crime. He's because he's they
They
say he's
just
a victim.
a victim.
Yeah, they just say he's a victim because he's 6 years old. Now the police officer said something in the press conference when they were talking about this. He said, "What if that lady had a weapon on her, but she turned around and shot them little kids?
Yes.
This would have been a whole different story. Because even though it was a BB gun, when you in the heat of the moment and somebody's trying to rob you or take something from you, and it's a BB gun, those guns look real when it happens. You know what I mean? So you never somebody could take that as a serious threat.
Yes.
She could have easily killed them kids. Now I do feel like I don't know. I be feeling like when these little 6 years olds and these little kids do crimes or whatever, they need to have some sort of punishment. You know what I mean? Even though they're saying he's a victim because he probably was forced by his older brother. Like he gotta know right from wrong too. You know what
Well,
I mean?
I think on that, I have to argue with you on that. My rebuttal is that he is 6 years old. He's looking up to his older brother. His
Uh-huh.
older brother took him along with. We don't even know why he was with the brother. Was mom at work and he's supposed to be looking after the little brother, and he took the little brother along with him? He, you know what I'm saying? Who's to say that he just really wanted to be there for that, if he even knew that was going to happen? Now,
Right,
what
right.
needs to happen though is that he needs to be taught that what his brother did was wrong and that he should never do it. That's what needs to happen. But I agree with the officer when he says he looks at him as a victim.
I mean, yeah, you're right. But I got people who live over there because this happened in like Southwest Charlotte, somewhere around there. These type of crimes happen a lot over there, but just thank God that didn't nobody get killed. Because I know, because nowadays, if somebody pull a gun on somebody, they shooting right off the back. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it was self defense, because they took of all this for a phone, though. You know what I mean? Like it's like you got to do better, and it's unfortunate that people just don't know. Hey, I gotta take care of my little brother. You know what I'm saying? Like my little brother's 6 years old, and he looks up to me. So this is what I do. The little boy could have got killed. The other boy could have got killed, all for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that it didn't happen like that, but this story could have been really tragic.
Yeah, it could have. It could have. Definitely could have.
I don't
And
know. Like,
but they did charge the 12-year-old.
oh yeah, he gonna sit down in juvie for a while. He definitely gonna sit down in juvie for a while, just for the fake gun, if anything, because that gun look real.
All right, and so our next topic, I wanted to kind of discuss the whole situation that's going on with Raz B. Let me see if I can pull up right quick. Give me 1 second here. Oh shoot. I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull them up. Well, I had some videos that I had wanted to share, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull them up because I'm not on my laptop. But there's a couple of videos that Raz B had put out where he was basically where he was basically asking for help. I'm gonna see if I can send those videos to my email because I really want to play the video.
Okay. Man, it's definitely crazy out here, man. Like little kids not being little kids anymore. Like what happened with little kids just used to go home, play outside, and eat spaghettios. Now we got little kids out here wanting to rob people for phones and stuff. That's not cool.
And the kids aren't they're not giving structure either. That's another big problem. Whether
Right, right.
they face it or not.
And a lot of these parents really don't know what their kids are doing once they leave the home. My mom used to tell me all that. Tell me all the time. Once you leave the house, we can tell you we can try to give you as much discipline as possible. Once you leave the house, like we don't know what you're doing until it might be too late.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. That's what my mom always used to tell me, and like a lot of these kids do need structure, but a lot of these parents do need to step up too. You know what I mean? Um, parents are nowadays the parents want to be their kids' friends and not really discipline them either.
Yeah, agree.
Cause ain't no way I'll be able to rob somebody with a fake gun at that, and then like man, I would get disciplined so bad when I got home, especially if I had to go to jail behind it.
Hmm. So the thing with Raz B is, I don't know if you know, are you familiar with who Chris Stokes is?
Hmm.
So allegedly, so he came out and he's basically he's been saying this for years that allegedly this man has done some things to him, as he was,
Yeah, it's Chris. Yeah, that's been happening since I found out about that when I was like in high school or something like that.
right. And so I guess he recently spoke on it, and Raz B went live and was saying that he was calling on is it Marcus and somebody else and saying that somebody was trying to do something to him. He needed help. He was trying to get in touch with people. Follows
Uh,
behind that, he goes live again where he's on a building and he's attempting to jump. He busted out a hospital window. He broke his wrist. I mean, like the bone was, popped out of his wrist. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, so I saw a video where he's talking to somebody. I don't know who that was, but he was talking to somebody, and I guess they were talking to him probably to keep him from jumping, to distract him, to keep him from jumping or whatever. But it seems to me the man is scared.
Yeah,
I don't
he
think that it was a good idea for him to cast on Zeus Network on the TV show Bad Boys. I mean, you know what I mean?
right. I didn't even know he was on that show. He's on that show.
Yes, he's on there. He's a cast member on that show. And as we all know, it is basically, some LGBTQ people on there. Now,
Hmm.
some people are not supposed to be, there are supposed to be like some people on there that are straight, some guys that are on there that are straight. But one thing that I read is when people was saying, like fans and family members was telling him that he shouldn't be public with this, he should do this in private, and he pretty much stated that they ruined him publicly. They have people thinking that he's gay. But he makes a good point. So, but my point is though, going on a TV show that's known for that probably wasn't a good thing for him because it probably really just played on his mental.
Yeah, and people already think kind of on that side of the fence, which, like, all right, so he's been going through this for like the last couple years.
Hmm.
He's been kind of on the mental, going through some mental issues for the last couple years. So I think he needs to get the proper help. I think that people have tried to help him, but I don't know if he's ready to exactly face the problems that he has. Because if you tried to escape or jump out of a window, I think you really seriously going through some things. I don't know why he would go on a show that's LGBTQ friendly. You know what I mean? Because that's just kind of amplifying what people are saying. You know, like yo, you might be kind of on that side, bro. And because I didn't even know, I have never seen him on the show. Like I've seen
He's
little
on this.
commercials,
He's on this season.
right? Because I see I've seen little commercials or whatever, right? Seen little previews, but I never. But if he's really going through some things, he needs to get help. Maybe he just doesn't know how to, or
Well, when you got like when you got family members that's not really there for you, also it kind of makes it hard, and that'll also weigh on your mental.
right. I think because the last time I checked, I heard about that. I heard about him jumping out the trying to jump out the window a couple days ago. So I checked on it. The last time I checked, I thought he was out of the country. You know what I mean? So,
So here's the video. Oh,
oh man,
are you able to hear that?
nah, I can't hear it.
Feel safe. I'm in Kansas City. I'm at the Hilton Hotel. And I'm telling everybody right now, Raz B does not feel safe. Pull out an APB for Raz B in Kansas City. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I'm telling everybody right now, I don't feel safe. What's up? What's up? What's up? It's turned up.
Man, he looks like he's on edge, man. You know what? Like mental health is such a real thing, man.
Yeah. And then I
And
have
it's
a second video too, but go ahead.
man, yeah, mental health is such a real thing. Um, maybe he's been feeling like this for a while. You know what I mean? Because or he just don't know how to tell people what he's going through. So the only way he feels like he can voice his opinion or express how he feels is when he feels threatened or feels unsafe. Cause like I looked at the video, he looks scared. I ain't gonna lie, he looks scared.
So
So
I don't
go
want
ahead.
to say that is that he doesn't know how to express himself, because he's been, from what I read,
Mhm.
he's been telling this same story for years, and his story has never changed. Now, what recently happened is that he went on to the Jason Lee show, and he did an interview with Jason Lee, and where he told the full story. But of course, Jason Lee allegedly was served with a cease and desist and could not air it. And then that's when the videos follow where he's saying he doesn't feel safe. He's trying to get in touch with somebody. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to do something to him. But then he also followed with another video, and I'll let you say what you have to say, and then I'll play that video.
Okay, so if he tried to go to the Jason Lee and air the story out, but they gave it a cease and desist, then it's some realness behind what he's saying. You know what I mean? Because regardless of how I may feel, regardless how anybody may feel, when you go up there and you say something and they try to shut it down immediately, it, then you know what I'm saying it's something to that. Like you said, if he's been saying this for years, then you know, because like you said, his story hasn't changed. Dude, he's been saying the same thing since I was in high school. This was like 2006, 2007. You know what I mean?
Right. Hello, welcome,
How
welcome.
y'all doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I'm
So
sorry for being late.
that's okay. So to bring you up to speed, we had pretty much discussed the situation with the 11-year-old that was shot by the police for no reason, no apparent reason. Also discussed the 12-year-old who robbed the lady for her phone with his 6-year-old brother present. And then our last topic that we were just discussing is the whole situation with Raz B and what's going on with him, and how I feel like the situation that took place with him by his cousin allegedly is really playing on his mental. And I feel like since he tried to speak out about it, you know, people are trying to bully him to be quiet, and that's also playing on his mental. So do you have any thoughts that you want to share before I go to the next video?
To talk about the Raz B situation, being that I've worked with him on a personal level, and we crossed paths, and his PR is actually my industry mom, so I know him on a personal level. That's 100% true. It's something that he's trying to accept, but he can't find a way to accept it, being that it was somebody who was close to him. It's something that he's trying to get over, but it's like different things keep triggering him to go back into the ways of being in the dark space with his mental. Like the situation when he was on live a couple of days ago at the hotel, talking about he didn't feel safe. Literally, you was at a hotel with nobody but the security and the staff of the hotel, but it was the fact of sometimes like he see different faces, he see different body types, he see different people that reminds him of the person who did what they did to him, and it triggers them, which is why I always tell people you never know what could trigger a person to get into a mental state of being in a dark place.
Yes. And so let me ask you, because you spoke of triggers, and I was just saying before you came on, him being on the show, the TV show, The Bad Boys of Houston on Zeus Network, do you think that could have been a trigger? Because I mean, we all know that that's predominantly supposed, you know, there's predominantly gay men. Mm-hmm. There are some straight, but then, you know, if you got a person that this has happened to them, and like he mentioned before, when everybody was saying, "Oh, I don't think you should go public. I think you should keep it private," but he said they messed him up. They ruined him publicly. And so, and they got everybody thinking that he's gay. So do you think that him going on Zeus Network on that particular show was a good idea?
For marketing and promo of him getting back out there, you know, he has his own gummies, his own THC gummies and all that stuff. It was a great idea to do for him to promote his business and what he got going on and coming back to the music world and working with people. But also it was a bad idea because you are around predominantly, you know, LGBT cast, and some of those, you know, castmates on there, they're, you know, more of the masculine looking men too. So that could be a triggering thing when, you know, they shake their booty or, you know, they talk about certain stuff that, you know, they would normally talk about with their friends. That could be triggering. Or if they talk about sex or they talk about, you know, things of that nature, that could be triggering, and that could, you know, bring him back to those dark days, because I've been molested, I've been raped. So it's like certain things that I know personally, like I could see a certain person that looked like the person that did what they did to me, and it get me into a certain state. Or it could be around the time that it happened, the month or the season that it happened, and it triggers me. So I don't feel like it was a bad idea, but it wasn't the greatest idea to do as of right now, being that where you were with the story and coming out with it and all that stuff. Because now it's basically you saying that you was messed with by a dude. Now you on a show with nothing but dudes. It's like you want us to believe that you're not gay, but you're on a show with a cast that's predominantly gay.
Yeah. And then also it probably didn't help that, because Chef B, he kind of bullied him. He put hands on him. You know what I mean? I don't know what happened. He went out.
He probably got a phone call and then he got kicked out.
That's what I be saying. Okay, so here we go with the next video. I'm gonna share this one.
This is interesting.
Okay, it's loading slow. Give me a second here.
Please, I beg you all. Please, I beg you all. I need some help. Please, I'm trying my best to get back. So if there's anybody that can talk to my cousin, talk to Marcus, talk to everybody. Like, I'm really trying to fix my life and make everything right. Right. So, what's going on is I just really don't feel safe, guys, and I'm really trying to get into a safe space. I really try to get into a safe space with my cousin, and my cousin is the only person that can put me in the safe space. I don't care how I look or whatever people may think, but I'm truly, truly asking for my cousin Chris Stokes. So I'm asking everybody, please, to go and hit up my cousin's page, Chris Stokes' page, Marcus Houston's page, right? And and I need to talk to them. You know what I mean? Because these are the people that gave me my start in this business. And I plead the blood of Jesus. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Right?
So I'm gonna stop it there. Now I want to know. Okay, so this is where I'm puzzled. Is where he says, he doesn't feel safe. But I want to know why he asked for the person that he is alleging did these things to him. Can't hear you.
I feel like he's at the point where I was in the beginning of this year, the ending of last year and the beginning of this year of I just want this part of my life to be done. I just want to have a conversation with the person, tell the person I forgive you. I'll never forget what you did, but I forgive you just so I could live in a more peaceful state of life of not feeling like I have to look over my back or I can't do things or I can't go somewhere because somebody might harm me or I can't go into a room or into a bathroom by myself because something might happen. So I kind of feel like he's to that point now. He wants to be over with it, but he wants to actually have that conversation with them so they could actually date it on a more family level and a more private level, and then probably pop out together, be like, okay, well, we done with it. It's over with. We talked about it. That's still my cousin at the end of the day. That's still my family at the end of the day. We still gonna ride together and all that type of stuff. So I feel like he's to that point, but he's not going about it the right way.
Okay.
because social
So
media isn't the way of getting to the person.
right. So sometimes when you go through a dramatic situation or form of abuse, you want to like find your own way to have the closure. You know what I mean? So he might just want to have closure with the situation for him and his peace. You know what I mean? So, because I know a lot of people who've been in traumatic situations, abusive situations, where they just want to find a way to have some kind of closure. So, if that's the way he feels like he needs to do it, I think, like you said, I don't think social media might be the best way to go about it. But he probably does need to find that closure, though.
Yeah, true. And also too, we also have to remember that he is a celebrity and he has to keep his name relevant. So
Mhm.
that's a reason of why he's doing it on social media as well. It's always a motive behind like publicity stunts. Some of it be like a 50-50. It could be real feelings and actual publicity because you know that, Raz B, he been around for a long time and he was like almost like a he's almost like one of those one hit wonders. We saw him one day, he was gone the next. So to keep him relevant, he want to keep up with social media and keep up with what social media likes. They like the mess. They like to see that family is getting into it. They like to see that two famous people are arguing about something that could be deaded within the own comforts of their homes.
But do you think that to be stay relevant though, you would put something that serious out there though? I mean, that's serious. Like, you know what I mean?
To be honest, being that I'm in the industry, a lot of times, um, whoever your publicist is, they're always like, I have a publicist that, in certain situations that be bad situations, it'd be like, you go ahead and out it before the world or before a blog or somebody go ahead and out it for you. You go ahead and speak the truth before the lies start.
Okay.
So you can confront it already, yeah.
And
Oh.
then when it comes to the blogs and stuff, it's like, yeah, we already talked about it. It's already dead. It's already over with. Y'all late.
Well, and then so there's also been a brother that has been speaking out too, and he's been. So I saw a couple of videos of where he was saying that he had been reaching out, allegedly reaching out to Zeus Network, and allegedly there has been no responses. What do you think about that? Why do you think the reason would be?
For him to reach out to Zeus and they're not allowing him to come on the platform. It's probably because of the nature of the situation that's going on. With networks, they don't really want to be involved with sexual abuse, domestic violence, things of that nature. And being that it's family, it's like, what can my platform do for you? What can my TV show do for you that y'all can't do at y'all own house?
Well, I want to clarify on the question. Basically, I because he didn't say anything about him coming back on the show. Basically, he was saying that he had been reaching out to them. I don't know if it was to talk to them and say, "Hey, this is going on with my brother," or whatever. He's on y'all's network. What can y'all do to help? I don't know if that's the reason, but he just basically was stating that he had been reaching out to Zeus Network, Natalie Nunn. He tried calling her, and nobody has responded.
I also look at it like this. When you clock in, you clock out, it's a job. A job really don't care about you unless you on the clock because they got to worry about their insurance. After you clock out, you on your own, baby. It's like you got to get it for yourself. Now, if it happened on the show or if it was something that was happening while it was filming, then they're liable to know what's going on, and they have to be in detail with what's going on with their cast member. But being that this is stuff after casting the show and already aired and all that stuff, it's like, what can we do? Why wasn't it done during the show, during the season, and all that stuff? Because it's not something that he just woke up and started dealing with. He's been dealing with this for the last couple of years. Ever since Raz B came back out, he's been dealing with this for years.
And then to go back to when you were talking about the triggers and you were saying, so basically you feel like how he's feeling scared and saying, you know, he's feeling like people is trying to, you know, comfort him and this and that. You just feel like it's kind of like triggers and it's kind of like a figment of his imagination. Nobody in reality is really trying to bully him to hush.
Mm-hmm. I only could say that is because I've been through it, and it's something that I know that it's certain, like, I'm an LGBT gay male, so even with me being in relationships with men, like, they could touch me a certain way and it could trigger me. They could look at me a certain way, it could trigger me. They could call me something and it could trigger me. And it's like it could be the littlest thing, like they could lick their lip. And then it just be like, wait, he licked his lip like that before he did what he did to me.
Mm-hmm.
Or he looked at me like that before he did what he did to me. So what type of time you on? So that's why I say it could be triggers. When you go through abuse, like you think about PTSD, when those people are in the army, they could hear a ringing bell and go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
The crazy thing about triggers is the person that may have triggered it, he or she doesn't even know that he's doing it. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
just they just being regular. You know what I mean? So like you said, he can do something just as quick as like somebody might have yelled too loud, or somebody might have said something, and he just got triggered out of nowhere. Cause my girl went through that when we first got together. Certain things I did triggered her, so I had to learn how to handle it, how to handle certain situations. Uh, so there's really nothing you can do. You just kind of gotta go with the process. Cause
Just
that's
think,
go ahead.
no, you go finish. My bad.
Yeah, you just kind of gotta go with the process because it's something anybody does could trigger a person. You never know. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, you think about a child when a parent flinch at a child, what they do. That's the first thing that they do. That's
Yeah.
a trigger.
Yeah.
And then if you've been abused your whole life and an adult flinch at you, what you do? You run, you get scared because of the traumatic thing that you went through growing up, and then being that you grew up in a household where you probably they done told you, a man don't touch you right there, a man don't do this right here, a man don't do that to you, they don't do this, they don't do that, and then it probably was that same man that was telling you, oh, a man don't do this, a man don't do that, and you do what you said that the man don't do.
Right. So, in your opinion, do you really feel that this happened? Because I read that Chris Stokes says that he did not, that these accusations are not true, and that allegedly it was the brother. And if you look it up, the brother is in prison serving time because he allegedly raped two girls.
I say that you guilty by association. Regardless of if you did it, if you didn't do the actions, you knew that the actions was going on. So you didn't try to protect me as my big cousin. You ain't try to protect me from your brother. You ain't tried to. So it's like you're just as guilty. That's just like when black males, they go to these college parties with the Caucasians and they just guilty by association because one of the men that went up into the room and raped the girl, and now all the men are going to the police station for questioning because you're guilty by association. That's how I feel like it is. I could believe that he didn't do it, but I also can't believe that he didn't do it. I could believe that he didn't do the actions of what happened, but I can believe that you did have some part in knowing, because there's no way that your brother is doing something to somebody that y'all close to and you just don't know. You could tell. Like, the thing is too, when it's abuse or anything in a relationship between anybody, a person, an outsider, could tell because of the way that they act towards that person. You seeing the way that I act towards him, that automatically should put that in your head of something not right. Something is going on. Something had to happen, and 9 times out of 10, you had that thought. You talked to your brother, and you probably talked to Raz B prior to him even coming out. Raz B told you what happened. You didn't believe it. Your brother told you no, but you still knew that it was a possibility.
And just to clear it up, not Chris Stokes' brother. He was saying that it was Raz B's brother.
Yeah.
But it also has been said that Raz B has never changed his story since he came out with this. His story has never changed.
I met Raz B when he came out with the story. My industry mom started doing his publicist, being his publicist literally soon as he came out with the story. So it's like I've heard the story firsthand, us talking about it. I've heard it on blogs. I heard it on interviews. I done seen it in newspapers. I done seen it in articles. And it's the same exact story. The thing is, too, a lot of people be like, why did you wait so long to come out? Because I wasn't comfortable coming out. Because of the backlash, I came out now, and then now y'all saying that I'm gay.
And that be the thing. People always ask that question, why did you wait to come out? Because this is what I was going to have to deal with once I came out, being judged and being questioned and being victimized again. Because when you tell somebody that something like this has happened to you and people start questioning you and they always ask the questions, well, what did you do? What were you wearing? Why did this happen? You know what I mean? Like, what did you do to make this happen? Like, that's victimizing a person all over again. So, but people come out even though they know these things are going to happen. People have to speak because you can only weigh that for so long. You know what I mean?
You can only keep it in until it start eating you alive. Like I have a book that I'm writing where my title is Lord, deliver me from me, living my life in my own self-destruction. So while I was harboring those feelings, I was tearing me up inside. I was tearing up my career. I was tearing up my livelihood. I was tearing up my goals. It was like, I can't be happy. I can't see the time of day. I don't really want to be bothered with people. I work in the industry. So it's like, I have to be around people. I can't be antisocial. I can't have these attitudes. I can't be like this. So it eats you up in the inside just to know. And then you hear stories about other little boys that's going through it. And then it'd be like, dang, I could be that person to be that voice for him. I could be that person that I might not be strong in this time, but I could get strong so I could be the voice for them.
Yeah.
This is why people don't say anything when they have mental health problems because they're afraid of being judged. They're afraid of people coming out left and right. You know what I'm saying? Like they feel like, why? If I tell you how I feel, all you gonna do is tell me I'm wrong or go sit down somewhere. It's gonna be okay, and nobody's really gonna help. So this is why you get a lot of people who just like
That's
who
my
don't say
thing.
nothing.
That
And
you hit it
I
on the
agree
nail.
with the comment that Drunk just made about people saying why you just not coming out or why you haven't came out. He didn't feel comfortable. But then again, like I was saying, when he did come out, what happened? You got the fans and you got his family members telling him you shouldn't be public with it. You should deal with this in private. And like he said, they ruined you publicly.
And that's how I am. I'm big on, if it happened in private, then let's settle it in private. But if it happened in public, we have to settle it in public. Like, we're socialites, we're celebrities, so our whole life is in the public eye. So we have to come out publicly. And also, too, it builds an outlet where other people could come and speak to him and also say that, hey, I'm a little boy that went through the same exact thing. I'm the little boy that went through your same exact story. And because of your story, I was able to tell my mom that I was touched. I was able to tell my dad that I was touched. So it's like I tell everybody, it's a right time and for everything. And at that moment of when it was happening, it was not a right time because you're building a career. For all this controversy to come out in the beginning of your career, you could have got blackballed. You could have been really a one-hit wonder. It wasn't no coming back or any of that because things of this nature, it make networks not want to work with you. It make other people in the industry not want to work with you. It make radio stations not want you as a guest, all different type of things like that. It fumbles your bag. So it was
isn't
like,
that been victimized too though? Because like you mean to tell me if I'm telling you this happened to me, you're going to punish me because I spoke out about it? That's the problem. These things have always been brushed under the carpet. Like, it's just brushed under the carpet, hush hush. We don't speak on that. We keep it quiet. And if
But
you speak,
especially,
then you're punished or you're victimized. Like,
but especially as like a black male, we're not supposed to tell anybody these problems. We're supposed to be people look at us like we're supposed to be strong and be able to deal with this stuff and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? If I sit up here and say, yo, I'm mentally depressed or I feel like jumping off a bridge, somebody gonna be like, you tough, work it out or it'll be okay. Nobody's really gonna know that I'm really going through something until I actually do something stupid.
And that's the
And that,
thing too. A
yeah,
lot of times
that's what's messed up.
a lot of people feel like you gotta be strong. But what about the weak people? What about people being vulnerable? What about all those different feelings? We all have emotions, we all have feelings, but the only emotion that you want to see from a black male is a strong black male. But the way that you really see a strong black male is because, yeah, you'll cry in front of a crowd. You'll be vulnerable in front of the crowd. You'll speak up in front of a crowd. You will stand up for what's right. That's what I believe is a strong individual, not somebody has to be who has to be forced to be strong, to be quiet. Being quiet is not strong because at the end of the day, it might be making you strong, but it's making me weak in the inside.
Being African American, I feel like we judge and we're the most judged. Like as soon as we do something, it's like you're not supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? You're a strong black male or you're a strong black woman. You're not supposed to act like that. But and that's where the mental health problems come in. When I come to you and I say, look, I got a problem, I feel like doing this, doing that, we just get pushed to the side.
this is a
That's where the problems come in.
I want to know if y'all think people not taking it serious is a human problem or a black community problem.
It's both to me.
It's both.
It's both. Like black people take stuff so lightly to me. Like it pisses me off how black people don't cherish life. I cherish every milestone that I have as a black male because one, we had people that didn't make it to see these times. We're walking in freedom. We're walking where we could literally walk into any door. We don't have to walk in the back anymore. We don't have to worry about getting us. We don't have to worry about getting beaten. We don't have to worry about us having a fire hydrant with buku water hitting us, about to kill us. We don't got to worry about dogs. We don't got to worry about walking down the street being maced anymore. So I'd say that I always feel that black people take life, they don't cherish it. They take life as an everyday thing, and not as every day my life could be taken away. Every day that somebody had to fight for me to have the life that I have today. Every day is a milestone for myself because it's like I look at it as Dr. King, you had a dream and this was your dream and you're not able to live your dream, but you said one day I want every little black boy and black girl to be able to walk around here free, and you was able to get your dream. So now I have a dream to be the next one.
hmm I felt like black people we're our own worst enemy too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We don't really support each other for real. We found a way to soon as one person does something good, the other person is jealous of them, and what I'm saying that we shouldn't have this or you shouldn't do this. So it's a black problem. It's both situations, but it's a black problem for sure because we get in our own way. We're the only we don't really help each other unless somebody can benefit from the help that you give.
And so
That's the sad part.
I wanted to ask you, Quan, because you said that you've been through this and that
hmm
you have triggers. Have you ever gotten like any help? Like, have you ever talked with like a psychiatrist or anything to help you with these your trauma?
Just last year I put myself into outpatient program, and also growing up, I did counseling, I did mentor programs, I did after school programs. Um, I did literally everything that on paper for a doctor to prescribe for you, I did. And I honestly say none of it worked. It didn't work because you're talking to a stranger about the problem, and this stranger is only going to tell you, well, basically, okay, well, be strong. Well, they didn't this, they didn't that, versus me talking to an actual family member or me talking to somebody who actually they didn't go through it with me, but they was around me when I was going through it. So they seen the change in me. This person only know me from what they see on this report or they see on this intake form. Y'all don't know me as a person. So it didn't work for me. What worked for me was when I literally I reached out to the person that did what they did to me. They did not reply. So my godmom was like, just send a message and say that I forgive you. And I mean, I don't forget, but I forgive you. And when I said that, it was like my life just started opening. It was like every door that was closed, everything that I was stopping myself from, it just started coming and coming and coming because I was able to tell the person myself that, hey, I forgive you. Not somebody telling me, oh, you forgive them? You forgive them? Like, just say that you forgive them. You forgive them. Like, it don't work like that until you tell that person that you forgive them, because a lot of times, like the person that did what they did to me, they forgot about it. They forgot that they even did that to me. So when
Okay.
I just out the blue, 23 years later, just said, I forgive you, it was like, what you forgive me for? I forgive you for what you did to me, but I don't forget. And
Right.
it literally, when I say opened up my heart to being able to love, be able to really like let people in, because my trust was messed up. I didn't trust nobody. Like, I didn't want to be around people. I was very antisocial, and it was messing up my own personal career because at that time I was getting into the industry. I wasn't as far as I was now. So it was like, I can't not go to these events. I cannot not be around these people. I have to do it. So what can I do to make me be able to do it? Okay, I could confront this person. I've had many thoughts of, well, maybe I'll shoot him, I'll kill him, I this, I that. But then you also think about, what is that going to solve? Because now you're in jail. Okay, you hit him with hurt. You hit him with kindness. I forgive you.
All right. And
That's
so I have a question, and I have a question from somebody, from a viewer, before we get out of here. And so you got over it that way. Now, do you still have those triggers?
um no, not really. I wouldn't call them triggers. I just have those moments where I'll be like, okay, well, it's all right. You know what? It's cool. They're not triggers anymore, because when they was triggers, they would bring me down. Now it's like, okay, you did that. Just don't do it again. Just don't touch me there no more. Why? Don't ask me why. Just don't touch me there no more. And we're good. I mean, I'm a type of person that I don't have a problem with letting somebody know that you're wrong or you did something wrong. So in that moment, I'm gonna let you know that, hey, you did this wrong. You touched me, and leave it at that. Question for Quan: was there anyone in his life that he wished he would have went back to that he didn't go to? Um, as in what? Like relationship wise or friendship wise?
I mean, just period. Do you have anybody that you wish you could have?
Well, we want to let him elaborate because he posted the question. So we want to make sure we're getting the right question. No lie, this was super educational chat for me. Thank you, Druck. I always appreciate you stopping through. Can you elaborate on the question that you posted when you said, was there anybody in his life that he wished he would have went back to, then that he didn't go to?
Yeah, this has definitely been a fire show. I ain't gonna lie. This has been fire. We definitely appreciate you coming up here.
Yeah.
Oh, I love podcasts like this. Like, anytime that I could be a voice, anytime that I could talk about something that I went through, that now I could walk into the destiny of saying that, hey, I've been through it, it happened to me, and let's go ahead on about it. I mean, just anybody you could have asked for help. Yes, I do, because during those times, my trust was so messed up to the point where I didn't trust anyone, and I felt like everybody was out to get me. I had family members that, was trying to help and do things, but I just couldn't trust them because the person that did what they did to me was somebody that was very close, that lived in the same household, and that I'd seen every day. So it was like I did burn a lot of bridges with a lot of people back then that now, being that I'm in a better state, I'm trying to fix.
And then his last question was, he means like somebody that would have took you serious.
Yeah, I had a teacher, and I used to talk to this teacher about everything already, but it was just that one thing that I felt like, even not even a teacher, my grandma. I wish I could have. I wish I would have told my grandma before she passed. But I always was scared that, because I was raised by my grandma, I lived in the household with my grandma. I already knew that my grandma would have did something crazy, and then it was like I would have lost you for the rest of my life, and it wouldn't have been no passing away. It would have been like, now I got to go see you behind bars. So I wish I would have told her before she passed, where not for her to do something, just so she could have understood me more when I was going through my rebellious stages of being a teenager and coming into my adult ages.
All right. Well, I would like to thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for joining us. But before we get out of here, I would like to have you to tell the viewers what it is that you do, where they can find you.
Well, I am him, he is me. I am motherfucking Quan, the one and only, the Manifest King. I am the owner of I Am Billions Entertainment, and also the creator and director and one of the producers of Southern Bosses 225. I own my own label. I have an R&B artist that go by the name Young Fall. He has a single coming out on the 4th called Deja Vu. I have an artist named Baby Nino. He's a rap artist. He has a single coming out June 4th called Cut Your Losses. And I mean, I just be all over the places. I'm on tour right now with my label. We're going to Atlanta June 17th. If y'all got a city and y'all want to see some Baton Rouge, some real Louisiana artists, come out, tell us, pull up, hop out, and we gonna come.
All right. All right. So, Rue, would you like to let everybody know where they can find you?
You can
You can
find
find
me.
me. You can find me on Instagram at rulelife.nasa. You can find me on Twitter at rulelife_NASA. And I got this show, the Rule Life NASA Show, which is on Roku and Amazon Fire. Every week it's an episode. So yeah.
All right. I would like to thank everybody who tuned in and jumped in the comments. Until next time, you all have a good night.
I got a itch in my palm. My girl, she know she the one. I put the ice on her hand. I put some ice on her arm. See me shining in the light. Know you found